Hello everyone, and welcome to the 55th episode of the Poorly Planned Podcast. My name is Benedict. You probably know me better as BHL Hudson. Here with me as always, we talk about movies and TV shows. And for once, we're actually talking about a TV show. Here with me as always is my friend, co-host, and casual day buddy?
I'd say so. The comfy hobo look is...
Man's in his hobo look right now. He has
got the grey sweats.
Got the sweats, got the comfy shirt. You're just living a life.
6 pods to go.
It's like you're going on a flight or something.
Yeah.
Also, I hate that I'm going to have to think of a new thing for you every single episode. I hate that I made that a thing now.
Especially today when I'm the most plain-looking man.
You have no distinct features today. Well, we're going to talk... I've been waiting for this episode for 54 episodes.
God, I've been dreading this episode.
We actually started the pod before I started watching The Office.
Did we?
Can you believe it?
God, feels like you've been watching that forever.
So, by the way, before we get started, this was recorded on September 8th, 2020, because we're recording these in advance, because Freddie's going off to university, but that's okay, I suppose.
Guess I'll let him.
He has my permission, guys. So, we're going to be talking about my favorite TV show of all time, arguably. Mm-hmm. Actually, probably inarguably. It's
no, it's most definitely
The Office.
God, I remember I watched this and I kept it a secret from you because it just didn't want to get your ego too high. And then I kept hitting you with too many Office references.
And then
he suddenly found out.
And then our friendship stopped. I think during the Rampage Ben and Fred watch was when it was revealed.
Was that when I revealed it?
No, but you revealed that you'd finished The Office, and I was like, oh my guy, Pete. So
Dwight Jr.
We're gonna talk about all that today. Spoilers for The Office, and I thought we'd do it in bunches. So I thought we'd talk season 1, then 2 to 4, because that's kind of a group, 5 to 7, and then 8 to 9. Spoilers for it all, and let's just get into it.
Let's just jump right into it. Let's just dump into it.
So, when I say it's my favorite show, it's actually my least favorite.
That's a double prank 2 weeks in a row.
But it's not like when it's compared. You can't really compare it to something like Breaking Bad or Game of Thrones or
because those are actually good shows.
It's a completely different vibe. It's completely different. It's in terms of epicness and well made and all that. Like Breaking Bad, I think is the best show ever, and I love that. But just in terms of, I've probably seen this whole show through a dozen times.
Yeah, I was gonna say
an insane number. I could literally
too many times.
Recite most of the episodes from heart. It's kind of ridiculous and sad, but also epic if you think about it.
I've thought about it, and it was most certainly not.
But for how great the show is, I have to say it does not get off to an amazing start, does it?
I will say that the first season, I think I watched the first episode and I just skipped because you said it's really not great.
That's the when I tell people to watch the show, because especially with my friends of such short attention span over here, I know that if it doesn't sort of immediately catch you, a lot of people will kind of be a bit on continuing. So I usually just tell people, just start on season 2, because I think
you don't miss much, do you?
No, you get all the character stuff basically from the first episode.
A lot
of
the characters they change a little bit, don't they? Kelly seems more serious in the first season, and then she becomes this crazy woman.
No, I mean the whole thing, because also season 1's a bit confusing because it's a pretty much different style than the rest of the show, and also Michael Scott is very different, and the show does evolve from. Season 2 is relatively more grounded, and then it gets more crazy, but Season 1 is really, really kind of, detached in my mind. Mm-hmm. That being said, I don't think it's without...
its moments. I do like the basketball stuff.
Basketball episode is great. Yeah. There is some really good Jim and Pam stuff they set up. The iconic shoulder on the... Wait, no. Head on the... shoulder on the face. Jim just goes, boom!
You lean on me?
I'm gonna tell Roy! But, and I think there are definitely... some funny moments scattered throughout here. I love the
little golden nuggets here and there.
But on the whole, especially the first episode, because the first episode is a remake, basically shot for shot, of the British Office first episode. And it's not as good. Yeah. Well, it's not it's...
Have you seen the British Office?
I've seen the first episode for comparison. And the British Office, I think in its own way, from what I've seen of it, and I've also seen clips, and then also from what I've heard about it, I think it's great for what it is, because it's meant to be much more sort of depressing and just awful and not wholesome really. And I think if you commit to that, then it works. And I think this first season just has
It's just depressed and awful.
well, it has a bit of like an identity crisis. Like it's sort of the depressing British one, but then it has like try to be a little more wholesome. And I think once they start to really lean into their own style, it becomes much better.
But has Ricky Gervais worked on The American Office? He has, hasn't he?
He's credited as a producer in a lot of episodes, I think, and he appears twice as a little cameo.
I've seen him hug Michael Scott, and then the other time I don't know.
He showed up via Skype. Very topical for today's audience.
Who are all sitting here on Skype talking about the pod.
But so season 1, it's okay. I definitely think it gets a worse rap than it should because of how good the rest of the show is. But it's okay overall, I think. Mm-hmm. Season 2 to 4, I think, is peak Office.
Office.
I think that's the fattest Office you could ever imagine. Krasinski is full on just... Actually, I would say, if we're ranking these seasons by Krasinski's hair, it increases in quality as it goes until the last season when it's too ridiculous.
Is it not the best in the last season?
Season 7 and 8 Jim hair is just...
You're such a nerd.
It's just perfection. It's just Poffus. It screams Poffus. But season 9
labeled Poffus.
Season 9 it goes.
Let me see it.
It goes to the moon. Do you know Andrew Garfield?
I do.
You know how there's like a meme of how his hair is ridiculous. See, look. Okay, this is season 7 hair. Beautiful, perfect, Poffus.
It's fine.
Then we go to Jim season 9, and it's just what are you doing, Krasinski? Where is it? Where is he? There's a scene where there he is.
This looks great.
Are you kidding? It's so big. Look at this picture of. That's what he looks like.
This is not what he looks like.
Season 9 Jim hair is
Andrew Garfield and BoJack Horseman.
You hit the nail on the head. Season 1 Jim hair though is also horrendous. I think
that's the weird Mormon cut he's got there.
5 to 7 Jim hair perfection. Anyway, what is the whole pod?
You're nerding out about Jim's hair and me not giving two shits.
But also, in season 3 he actually wears a wig for a lot of it because he was filming a movie where he had to shave his head.
Yeah, I did actually hear about that.
You can tell once you know. You can see Krasinski's not rocking that.
If you're an avid Krasinski watcher, you instantly know. On my third go,
it's like, wait a minute.
Barely watch it.
Something's wrong here.
So distracting from the dialogue.
Just for hours, just staring at the screen. What?
Just paused it. What the hell?
But season 2. I think actually, season 2 and 3. I think are the best seasons. They're because I think they're the perfect mix of sort of more subtle real world. Because towards the end it gets way too ridiculous in my opinion.
It's in season 4 that Jim and Pam get together. No.
Officially, yeah.
But the real fans know it was before.
But season 2 and 3, I think it's like perfect sort of. It's more wholesome than the British one. A lot of the episodes have a really nice ending, like when they do the Office Olympics and they all, they give Michael the award and all that stuff. But it is still more grounded. I think the Jim and Pam stuff is fantastic, and the Jim, Pam, Karen dynamic, excellent.
I'll say I really like Karen as a character.
Me too. She gets a bad rap, but
he should have been with Karen.
No,
instead of Pam.
I just beat Freddie the up for saying that.
He won't be here the rest of the pod.
I think Karen also, she got really like as a character she's hated by the fans because she was like not,
she was obstructing the perfect relationship. Is that the
also but then as a character in the show I think she also gets like screwed because she was good, like she was nice, she was very good, and then Jim's like, I'm good. Sorry,
nah, bro.
But like, I guess because it's funny because like it's a show, so like you root for Jim and Pam to get together. But if you think about it like a real world situation, it's like, well, she got kind of
no one kind of stiffed didn't really deserve that. She seemed like a nice person.
But then she's all happy in the end. She gets married and has a kid and all that.
And then they break in and try to steal the printer.
Yeah, they do. That's a classic episode. But
very good.
But yeah, and also I can't believe we haven't talked about any other character except for Jim and Karen so far. Let's talk about, well, first of all, Michael Scott. I was about to say Michael Scott is Steve Carell, but Steve Carell as Michael Scott.
That is arguably how it was in the real world.
just an excellent performance.
I think he's my favorite character.
I
know you're all about the Jim.
I am a bit of a Jim fanboy.
Yeah, a jam boy.
A jam. They do call me the jam boy in the streets.
Not just on the streets, but in the streets. I think he's so good. Like, a lot of people find him. I mean, he is at times cringeworthy, but like,
but that's the point.
Yeah,
exactly. He's supposed to be awful and like.
But I love it. It's so.
And the way they sort of humanize him. That's the thing. In season 1, also, he has like basically no like likable traits, but by like they start to make him realistically more likable and more. I don't know, wholesome in a way. And even though he is like a complete idiot a lot of the times,
you're also like,
And Steve Carell gives I think honestly I think it's his best performance.
Has he won an Emmy for it? He has, hasn't he?
He must have, yeah.
Surely. They wouldn't pass up a Carell Emmy.
I think Rainn Wilson won an Emmy, so Steve definitely won one.
And Dwight was terrible.
I know. Dwight is also great. Just I don't know, everyone is perfect as the character they play. Like I can't see anyone else playing that character, you know? Even when
apart from BJ Novak.
He's great too. Everyone's great. BJ Novak is...
No, I really do like him. Just wanted to say his name out loud.
I think, no, yeah, Stanley. I think, who's your least favorite in The Office? If we're gonna do this, because, you know, people don't come here for compliments, they come here for blood. And you can't say Pete, that's cheating. Because everyone knows the answer is Pete.
Because that's my answer. Honestly... I don't have much love for Stanley.
Oscar. Oh, damn.
Oscar's...
You don't like Stanley?
Not really. He's been a bit of an asshole.
Yeah, but I don't know, I always found his
antics humorous.
I did. Up until season 8 where they make him just a complete, like... Remember when he has, like, a catchphrase that's like, shove it up your butt?
Yeah.
I'm like, Stanley.
He loves the meatballs as well. Stanley. Yeah. Please.
Stan. I would say Oscar, personally, is my least favorite.
You like Angela?
Well, I don't. I don't.
Screams.
Like as a person, obviously she's quite unpleasant for a lot of the show, but as a
lover,
I don't know. As as a character who adds a dynamic to the show, I think she's fun.
I think because Stanley doesn't do much, and he just. And he cheats on his wife, and
can't abide that. And I think the reason I would say Oscar is just because I found him. Like, I don't think anyone in this is bad. I just think Oscar...
is not very good.
His character is just... It's more unpleasant and not as a fun... Like, he's not unpleasant enough, like Dwight or Angela, to be more funny.
Mm-hmm. He's just kind of like the grounded, unpleasant dude.
Yeah, and he is pleasant at times, but then he gets, like especially the China episode where they, like, show how he's such a know-it-all.
With the mega cities or like the population.
I don't know. But again, this is like choosing your least favorite flavor of ice cream. Actually, that'd be very easy. It's like choosing your least favorite part of a Sunday delight. You know, and it's definitely Oscar who's sitting on that Sunday. No, I still like him. I still think he's good. But I also think touching on the idea of a character who's like really unpleasant but also like adds a really funny dynamic to the show in that way. I think season 3 Andy is potentially my favorite Andy. Might be the best Helms.
I don't really like him that much in that.
But he's so awful and so like smarmy and gross and like annoying that he's just he's amazing. I love him.
I like Andy as he gets like as you start rooting for him later on.
I like that too. I think but I think they go a little too chummy. You took the word right out of my mouth. I think they try a little too hard to make every character kind of have like an arc or like a thing, because they start as like they're like 4 main characters basically, and then like if you count Dwight, and then they're like
which I know some people don't,
which some people in the fandom do, but and then everyone else is more of a background character who's sort of there to more have like funny little like C stories in the episode, and adding like some character to them is definitely like Angela. Also, I think that's a good example of like they add more character to her and that works. But then they start to make like...
Also because it kind of like affects multiple people.
Exactly. But then they make like the storyline later on with like Oscar having You are really hungry, aren't you? If you can hear Freddie's tummy rumbling. But then they do the whole thing... We're talking a lot about season 8 and 9. We're not supposed to. But they do the whole thing with Angela and Oscar and her husband having an affair. And it just gets way too like...
That gets a little bit...
way too dumb.
Unreal. Yeah. A little bit unrealistic.
But I do think... Yeah, I think Andy's arc goes a bit...
I don't like the arc with the boat. It seems so random.
No, well, that's because he was filming The Hangover.
Oh, really?
And so they had to have an excuse for him not being there for like 8 episodes.
Oh my God.
But
what a horrific excuse.
I think actually, you know what? I do like Andy as he becomes more humanized, because he's still like kind of an idiot,
fool.
and he's he like does some dumb things, but he's more likable, and it's like he's very funny in seasons 5 to 6 to 7, but then season 8 when he becomes manager,
Actually, I know who my least favorite character is. Nelly.
Oh, we'll get to Nelly. Actually, let's save the season 8 talk for season 8. But 2 to 4, I think Andy works very well. It's like the likable, more like goofy kind of guy he becomes, but also when he's first introduced, it's just complete awful, horrible person. It was like worse than Dwight, basically. That's the I don't know. I love that when he tells Jim he's gonna shoot him in real life. That's an
I will shoot you for real.
And then when he punches
I'm going
the wall,
to kill you.
You know the line.
Of course.
You're a real BHL Hudson in that way. And then the wall punch. What's it called? Welcome Back episode. The Return. That's a great one. And season 4 is also very fun. They have a lot of double episodes in that one, like 2-parters. Just more of the same. It's just. Whew.
Just thinking about the Nard dog.
But I think also we haven't really touched on like why I think The Office is so special. But I've said this before, but I think it's very good mix of humor and heart, because like a movie or show can be very, very funny, but then you would only really like watch it maybe once or twice, because then you know all the jokes, and then it's not as good. Or it can be very like wholesome, but then like it's this mix of humor and heart that makes it so rewatchable and so engaging, in my opinion, and like the great characters as well, because there's something about when someone or something makes you laugh, and then there's an emotional impact that it has so much more impact in that way.
Well, have you seen New Girl? You haven't,
No,
have you?
I've not.
It surprised me, because I think you would genuinely love it, because that is like exactly what it is, what you're describing right here.
No, I from everything I've heard about it, I think it would be
so good.
Like a good fit for me.
Legit, I cannot pick a favorite character. I can pick a least favorite character, which is the main character, I guess. But she's still very good. Good selling point. But
everything's great except for all of it.
But it's a really, really good show. So I think if you love The Office so much, I believe you would love that as well.
Well, hey.
A little FTK Gaming take on the whole situation.
I'll put it on the list. I will. I think also Brooklyn Nine-Nine is a little bit similar in that way, but I think
a bit more jokey there. It's like less impactful.
Yeah, it doesn't have the same also, I guess, like realism of The Office, where it really, especially the earlier seasons, like the Jim and Pam stuff, it feels so, because they also have such great chemistry, and like the writing is so kind of natural for them. You get so invested in it, you know, like as much as I love Brooklyn Nine-Nine, we'll talk about that in a later episode, because I do want to talk about how much I love it. But like the emotional moments don't hit the same for me, because it's more showy, I guess. And I think this show gets more showy later on. But seasons 5 to 7, they're not as good as 2 to 4, but still some really funny stuff here, especially season 5. They have the classic fire safety episode in there.
That's a good one. I will say, not to boost your own ego. I mean, not your ego, but like, I know this will delight you, but I must admit, man did cry at the end of season 7 with the Michael leaving.
When Michael leaves.
God, it is.
Well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about our feelings. But
therapy session is started.
Engaged. But this show has genuinely, especially for like a comedy sitcom, multiple moments where I was gonna say teared up, but let's be real. I was on the floor.
I was crying from every orifice.
Where I was like, where I was crying, like, Michael leaving is probably the biggest one.
The Pam art show. I know you're a sucker for that.
I love a wholesome, happy ending. The ending of the show is excellent, especially when Jim's final speech, where he's talking about how like he could watch himself like become a man and get married.
And Creed singing.
Creed singing, bro. And then also Michael returning, an excellent moment.
Yeah.
So as much as those later seasons aren't as good, they do have some great moments. But then also earlier, when Jim and Pam get married, like
on the where they had left the wedding and then came back. I don't know. That wedding was underwhelming.
Well, when Michael proposed as well, that was a good moment. Oh man, that was just us reminiscing. Now.
I do really like Holly.
Yeah, also they're great. There's lots of romance as well in the show that works really well. Also, there's a lot of cheating in the show. Have you noticed that? It's like there were probably like 8 different cheating storylines. Like, let's think about this. Let's write this down.
All right,
Stanley, yeah,
the main guy. Angela,
Michael
twice.
Yeah, Angela cheats on Yeah, on
The Nard
Andy
Dog?
the Nard Dog and the Senator.
Andy and the Nard Dog.
Two separate entities. Michael.
Andy wakes up in the morning, is like, am I feeling nardy today?
Michael gets cheated on by Jan with her assistant.
All right.
And also he's part of a cheating relationship. Remember at the end of season 6 with Donna at the nightclub or whatever?
Donna at the nightclub.
He he's the mistress, as he says. Then
I did not
technically Pam does kind of cheat on Roy. Like, I hate to be the one to say it, but her and Jim do kiss while they're still together. Also, it's like kind of implied that Phyllis, like, she doesn't cheat on her husband, but like she flirts with other people, and also
doesn't she think that her husband is
and she thinks that her husband's cheating. There's a lot of cheating stuff in this.
I'll say I'm also not a huge fan of Phyllis.
She's not my favorite. She's okay. I think everyone, like, there's no one who's bad. I think the worst are like okay, except for Pete. He's not. Actually, okay. Let's just move on to seasons 8 and 9.
Let's just talk about Pete for 10 minutes.
That's the whole pod. It's just titled Pete. No numbers, no thumbnail.
It's an apology video.
Well, season 8, the Nard Dog becomes the Nard
boss.
Manager. Nard boss. Helms would so call himself
the Nard Hound.
The Nard Dragon. What do you think?
The Nard Golem. The Nollum. The Christopher Nollum. I keep going.
God. He's on fire. What do you think of Andy's manager, Robert California, and Nellie?
I'll say Nellie is probably one of my most hated characters of all time.
She's pretty awful.
I cannot stand her. I really did like Robert, but I hated him for just letting Nellie be the manager.
So you liked Robert, but you hated him by Nellie association?
Yes.
Well, I think Nellie...
I think it's the opposite. Anyone who knows the California gets the boot.
I think Nellie was... I think they went too far with making her character unlikable. Like, they have unlikable characters throughout the show, but they went, like... She's just so unpleasant, and then they try to turn it around. And she does... In season 9, she's more likable. They do turn it around, but she's so cartoonishly horrible initially that it's just like... She does have one funny line at the start where she's like, "Stop looking at my breasts and look at my penis." Remember that part? That's a pretty good. That's a Nellie moment that made me laugh.
I do not remember that.
But yeah, I'm not a huge fan of her. Although in season 9, I think she's solid. California, he's.
Do you like the California?
Initially, I do, but then his character becomes.
But then he gets naked at his own house, and I was like, "Ew."
It's pretty awful. But then his character gets
BJ
so.
And we forgot to talk about the Skeleton Man.
Yeah, Gabe.
Gabe
Lewis.
Not Newell? No, that's the guy who owns Steam.
Not even gonna. I'm gonna leave that in, by the way. I hope you know. But yeah, Gabe Lewis. I actually like him. I think he's very funny.
I think
he gets a lot of hate as a character. I think he's funny. And
I also like Aaron.
What do you think of the Andy-Aaron romance?
Honestly, I think it's good, but I'm also not too sad that it ended. Because Andy was doing The Hangover, and then any relationship should end.
Well, also, I never really... I think they were kind of cute, but they were like clearly trying...
Cutie pies?
They were kind of trying to do like a Jim and Pam thing, but like they're more goofy.
And they've dips that already! Don't even try to recreate their magic.
But it's not... I never felt they had the same chemistry as anyone... As even Michael and Holly and...
No, yeah. I do like when they both quit, I guess. Or like when... The Nard Dog quits and punches the wall for the second time. And talks about his erectile dysfunction.
Yeah. Also, by the way, just to throw out there, I also love Jan as a character. I think she's excellent. Like, she's horrible, but she's excellent in the in like the creating the humor of the show. But yeah, I don't know. They just... Also, I recently saw a post that was talking about how the actress who played Erin, Ellie Kemper, said that she actually didn't like the romance between her because she hated working with Helms. No, because she...
So when Pete came along...
No, because she felt that Andy was too immature for her, like for her character.
Well, isn't she the
Which
most
I think is a weird... I agree that I don't really love their romance, but I think that's a weird... That's not the problem with it. But they do have some nice moments, but especially when they try to make it the main focus. And then Michael Scott obviously leaves this big void in the show. And
when he leaves, it's just not as good.
I do... Yeah, in season 8, the writing feels more... And it also gets so ridiculous, season 8 and 9.
Do you like season 8 or season 9 more?
9, because it has more of a focus. Season 8 has no focus. It's like...
It is just kind of scrambling together after
Yeah, it's like,
Michael's
okay,
left.
what do we do while now Michael's gone? Well, just like... And it has some funny moments. Not really, but I liked when they go to Tennessee. No, they go to Tallahassee. Whoops. But, that's a fun storyline, because I think the episode where that girl is trying to seduce Jim Halpert, and he stays loyal, I think that's my favorite.
I won't lie to you, I kind of hoped he did it.
Of course he did.
Create a bit of a rift.
Create some excitement, finally. I think that's my favorite episode of Season 8. But other than that, there are some real stinkers in Season 8, like the Gettysburg episode. That's a bit of a stinker.
Which one is that?
They go to Gettysburg.
What do they do there?
They have like pink hats. But and then Season 9, Season 8 really has no focus. And also, like I was saying about California, his character has no focus. He starts one way, and they just kind of mold him to what like each episode kind of needs him to be.
Yeah, exactly. He's so unpredictable, and then
because initially when he's this like creepy, like awful guy, like even though it's a bit dark for The Office, I think it kind of worked.
Yeah.
But then by the end, like he's creepy, but he's also like a drunk, and he's like kind of stupid, and he like
California, you're all over the place.
And then Season 9, at the very least, even though it does have also, it gets way too ridiculous with the Angela Oscar cheating thing, where like Angela hires someone to beat Oscar up and whatever. Like it, especially what annoys me about Season 9 is I feel like The Office is, for the first like probably 7 seasons, a show that anyone can put on any time. You could show to anyone and be like, look at this is funny. And then like Season 9, it gets so specific and so like weirdly nuanced with like these ridiculous plot lines that you put it on and you'd be kind of like what is this, like
what the hell am I watching?
And even having watched all 9 seasons, I was kind of thinking like, come on, we're doing this where like they hire someone to beat up Oscar, and then he's cheating on her with the senator and all this, and then but I like the Jim and Pam story of Season 9 simply because...
Where there's a bit of a rift, but then they get back together. Did you cry at that moment?
I may or may not have teared up when he says, not enough for me? You are everything.
That's your Dwight, I assume. I'm talking to the farm pigs. Shroot farmer boys.
But also I realized that we're kind of... I sound like I'm like going a million miles an hour just because I keep having thoughts, and we have to stop pretty soon with this episode, so I'm just trying to get everything out there. But I also, the fact that Jim and Pam finally have a
somewhat decent relationship.
Because Season 8, there's just basically nothing to them. Like, they're funny, but there's no story to them. So finally there's at least like a conflict. Although again, kind of like if you just tune in for an episode, like, oh, I'm going to laugh, and then like they're kind of just like fighting for like 10 episodes. It's a bit odd, but I think for Office fans it kind of works as like the big final emotional push. And then there's the finale. They also, fun fact, remember they have a promo in Danish? Like they're like, look, there's a promo for our show, it's in Danish, and it's complete gibberish.
Oh yeah, it's not Danish at all.
Yeah, well,
I hated that.
It's a little bit Danish, but it's completely it's like, look at Kevin, he's a Skraldespand. It's supposed to be Skaldespand. I'm like,
please.
Mads Mikkelsen. You should have hired us to do that. And then the show comes out, which I think some people might see as jumping the shark a little bit, but I think it's an interesting way to end it. Like this documentary actually comes out. And the finale, what do you think of the finale?
I think it was really well done. I do like when Angela's kind of like driving away, and then Dwight pulls up, and then he finds out he's a dad. That's also really sweet. You don't often see the man tear up like that. It was
that's a cute moment.
Good moment. And then,
God, eat some more, my man. Did you have breakfast?
I did.
We're recording this at 9 in the morning, by the way. That's what we do for you people.
Please appreciate it. But also, I think it was really well done, especially the Jim's final prank. Best prank ever.
Best prank.
Can's empty.
Yeah.
About that.
What
the
else?
Can wasn't empty.
That's something else about Season 9. No, it's a great finale, and and then Nardog goes away. I also liked...
I did not like Nardog getting fame through his weird audition fail.
It also goes too ridiculous again, but I think I kind of enjoyed that again, because in Season 8 I felt Andy's character was just kind of molded to be like basically Michael Scott with like a few little quirks in there, but like they were trying to do Michael Scott again, didn't really work. I like that even though he's a complete like asshole in Season 9, at least he has like a character, like he has something to him again to like, and also part of The Office is having these really unlikable characters to root against. I thought it was fun that made a bit of a more of a return.
Yeah.
And yeah, I also, because I was never super invested in Aaron and Andy's relationship. I wasn't a
So when
huge.
Pete came, boy oh boy, did I eat that up.
Also, I know we're joking about Pete, but I actually quite liked Pete in this. He was pretty solid.
Don't even lie to yourself. You hated Pete.
But post his Rampage and Johnny English performances, I have to say Pete is again on the hit list. But
On the pit list?
on the Pete list?
On the... Dope.
Nice.
Nardoc.
Nardy. And the last thing I want to say is something about Andy. That could never be. Oh yeah, I was going to say, if you were invested in Aaron and Andy's relationship, which I think a lot of people were, I can understand why everyone hates that storyline so much. Because it's basically like they did the whole Jim and Pam storyline, but then Jim and Pam end up... Jim goes back to Karen or something, you know, like...
No, Jim just goes on a boat and it's so stupid.
It would upset me if I was more invested in those characters. Luckily, I wasn't really.
Luckily, the Nardoc can suck it.
So, those were our thoughts compressed into a 25-minute period on The Office, on 9 seasons of television. We were going to do some trivia, but no.
But there's nothing to it.
There's lots of trivia.
I do see something very interesting, though. Although, yeah, you should...
Also,
this is perfect time to talk about this.
I will just say, Freddie... Without knowing that we were going to do this episode, as usual. I think it's part of the charm.
I find out as we start recording.
But he gave me as a little goodbye present before he goes off to uni. Gave me this unofficial, the ultimate fans guide to The Office inside Dunder Mifflin.
Yeah.
So that's kind of epic. Also, I'm going to get you more food. Well, okay, I opened to the worst page of all time.
Dressing for Success with Andy Bernard.
T-shirts.
Why is his neck so thick?
Worn one. Also, do you know how you notice how... Oh, we forgot to talk about Charles Minor.
He's such a minor character.
Minor, I hardly know her. That's a line that Michael says. Anyway,
Okay.
Well, yeah, there's a lot more...
I do think we're missing out the main part of the show, the greatest song ever. Suck it!
Yes! I forgot about that. David Wallace is great. But we could probably do a second episode, just to be honest. We didn't even talk about...
Meredith?
Kevin?
And his chili? Or is it curry?
Chili.
Oh, yeah.
And, yeah, there's a lot we didn't talk about. But
Doug Judy?
Daryl! Oh, he's so funny, especially in the earlier seasons. Oh, yeah, we missed out on a lot. We'll maybe come back to it someday. Or I'll make, like, a BHL Hudson video. You know how we do.
So I do know how you do. They're awful.
So, now it's time for...
The Cnews. What an instant segue. Daryl's kind of funny. Anyways...
So did you see this thing we were tagged on Instagram? Tagged in on Instagram. It's where you guys see Tenet.
With the Tenet thing?
Thanks. I think it was G Chamberlain something. G Chamberlain, a bunch of numbers. Thank you for that. Yeah, so he went with like a mask, and then people recognized him. He was like, "How do they even recognize me? I'm Tom Cruise, but I'm wearing a mask."
That's what he said to every single one of them. I'm Cruise, but I'm with a mask.
And then he liked the movie apparently. Also, I want to say real quick for episode 51. I think I mentioned La La Land was one of my favorite movies, but I was watching it last night, and I have to say, that would probably be my top 5. An amazing, excellent film. Just gotta put that out there. La La Land, one of the best. One of the best. One of my favorites.
Now that we're on the Krasinski, yesterday watched A Quiet Place for the first time.
Oh, goodness, sir.
Yeah.
What'd you think of it?
I thought it was pretty good. Very, very quiet. I kind of missed some Krasinski dialogue, but...
He didn't do enough goofy lines.
His hair was too big.
God.
I would say Krasinski with a beard, way hotter.
No comment, but you're wrong. Not that I would ever comment on another man's attractiveness, but you're so wrong. You couldn't be more wrong.
But God, I do not want to kiss him with a beard. But without a beard. It is also a bit of a goofy scream he does at the end.
Well, we should... Yeah, do we have to say spoiler alert? We don't have to say spoilers, do we?
Nah. If you've seen The Office, you've seen A Quiet Place. It's basically the same story.
I remember when I saw it for the first time, I sent you that clip because I thought it was hilarious, where Krasinski goes, "No!"
So I'll say Emily Blunt is freaking badass in that movie.
Dude, especially the last shot. Also, yeah, the sequel was supposed to come out a couple months ago, but obviously...
But Krasinski ain't about that shit.
But obviously that didn't happen, so...
Is he also directing it?
Yeah. And I think he appears in Flashback.
Oh my god.
So we'll have to see that if you're, around at that time.
If you're willing.
Well, hey, what would you give that on a scale of 1 to 10?
The Quiet Place or The Office?
Quiet Place. I know The Office is a 10 out of 10.
Don't tell me. It is so funny how wrong you are.
Don't tell me what I already know.
I don't know, probably a 8 out of 10, probably.
It was really good, wasn't it?
It was a good one.
It had some tense moments. And we're here for the weekly Freddy's in Scotland segment, which is recorded before the pod goes up, even though the rest of this was recorded way in advance. This is recorded right before it goes up. So, Freddy,
What? Oh, God.
how are you doing, Freddy? Give us a Scotland update.
I won't lie to you. Scotland's been pretty good. We have just got into even more restrictions, and another roommate has just moved out. But
Wait, you only have one roommate now.
no. So like, he wasn't here already. So I've still got 4 other roommates. Yeah. So no worries. But
Oh, okay.
yeah. So
My bad.
They're dropping like flies. I say. Okay.
I mean, are you sure it's about the situation and not the fact that you're their roommate?
Not the fact that I run a podcast.
That would make a lot of people run. Well, hopefully brighter days are ahead. It's just a depressing 7 each week. You're just like, yeah, things are getting worse over here.
Me complaining about how I've got less and less friends.
We have a few little announcements here at the end of the show. At the end of this bangin' The Office episode, if you recall, that's the episode that's going in.
That was not a good episode.
Very fair. So, the fan pages posted, firstly, congratulations for us getting on iTunes and Spotify, which is kind of...
We do need to talk about that, don't we?
Well, it is kind of an epic move on my part. I'm not gonna lie.
I won't lie to you. It is. I saw it. I was quite impressed.
But so yeah, no, it's everyone seems the response was great to it. So yeah, I'm glad everyone's very happy with that. And if you can leave a review on iTunes or Spotify, however that works, I don't really know how it works, but if you can,
I've got no clue.
I have no idea. But I think
if I see so much as one view drop from the actual pod on YouTube, boy oh boy,
you will come for them. And Cian posted some great memes. I'll put those in here. So thanks to the fan pages and to everyone who was supportive about the Spotify iTunes thing. It was a bit of a challenge, but nothing for BHL Hudson and FDK Gaming. What am I saying?
yeah,
You-
the FTK Gaming who did so much in this matter.
You helped me morally, So yeah, no, I'm just happy to see the response. That is really, really cool. Talked about in that video more in depth. Then there was a comment on the last pod where I'm not gonna read out this whole thing because it's very extensive but
And honestly.
I mean, clearly Movie Guy put a lot of work into this, so I appreciate that. However, I do have to hopefully correct him because someone asked, "Do you think you'll get to episode 100?" And Movie Guy used intense mathematics to calculate that we would probably hit 100 episodes by 2026. So, well,
How does he figure that?
it's like because we have pre-recorded up to a certain point, and then he's assuming there's some assumptions here. Which, to be fair, I'm glad he's giving us he's setting the bar low for us. But I'm not sure how we're gonna do it, but I do plan on
reaching 100 in the next month. So.
on us recording more stuff as kind of as time goes by. So hopefully, I'm not guaranteeing we'll put it up every single week after a certain point in November because we have to figure out logistics. But we're gonna do our best to keep it so we keep going one a week for as long as we can. So Movie Guy, who is a consistent commenter on the pod and a big fan, so
I shan't write to him and
yeah, just hate on him. But yeah, I appreciate you setting the bar low for us, but we hope to definitely not take until 2026 to do that. But who knows? Movie Guy could be way ahead of us and in our heads and know our exact moves.
I thought I was dead by 2026.
Then Cian sent in this drawing, logo kind of thing he did for the pod. I'll send it to you afterwards so you can look at it. We're a little crunched for time here in case you can't tell. But thank you, Cian. Wonderful. Then, and finally, I just want to say, I just love to see that Mr. Sunday Movies, after we have copied him for so long, has gone and ripped off our whole brand. But after we copied his quiz idea for videos, but then did it with a specific BuzzFeed quiz that he hadn't done, he's now gone and done that same BuzzFeed quiz. So
I'm starting to think that Mason is just relaying info that he watches on this pod. So we all know he's an avid listener.
Exactly. So yes, of course, there's no chance that Mr. Sunday knows anything about us. However, I did enjoy the
Okay. Hypothetically, what would you do if Mr. Sunday reached out and was like, "Yo, big fan"?
I would scream and then explode
And instantly delete the pod.
with pure delight, but also hatred of myself. You know what I'm saying? You get that feeling. It's a common one.
I see what you mean.
But yeah, so it was a great video. And I just thought it was interesting. A, they got more than us, right? They got 100%. We missed one.
Whereas Valkyrie's plane.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also,
You're the real winner if you get that right.
and also I found it amusing that they made the same joke that we made, where one of the questions is like, what curse word does Captain America say? And the options are like, shit, asshole, crap, dick, or something. And then they're like, he said all of them at the same time, whatever. And we said the same thing. And I was like, we're on that Sunday wavelength. You know what I'm saying?
No, Sunday's on our way.
Yeah, right. Winner mentality.
Too much credit. Sunday.
Yeah, but so yeah, no, it's a great video. So I thought that was funny. So that's been the announcements for this week. Check out the pod on iTunes and Spotify if you want, and leave a rating if that's a thing you do. I've heard people talk about that. And yeah, back to the pod.
Please, not a negative one.
If you do, could it please be 5 stars? Although I know you're tempted to do otherwise. Oh, also, real quick, I just want to say, I know the pod is on Spotify and iTunes now, but stay tuned to the pod channel and stay subscribed, not just because the pods are going to be posted here, but potentially I'm going to be making some little... Remember how we used to have those little... I would take little clips from the pod and then put visuals over it and like make them into a video? I think I'm going to start doing that again. So there's going to be more content on the pod channel. It's going to be fun. It's going to be great. So stay subscribed.
Amazing.
So, all right.
You know I will.
We'll see you guys, or back to the pod. So, thank you very much for listening to this episode of the Poorly Planned Podcast. Shout out to the fan pages if you want to follow those. I've messed this up last time, so let me not mess this up.
_poorly _
No. It's poorly_planned_podcast and poorly_planned_podcast_memes on Instagram. Are we going to do that every time? Because I want to give them the shout out, but goddamn, those are long handles.
God damn it, guys.
They post hilarious stuff, so if you're a fan of the pod, check those out. You can find me on YouTube, BHL Hudson, Instagram, Twitter, BHL_Hudson. You can email the pod at bhlhudsonvids@gmail.com.
You keep becoming Marshall Mathers. And I'm so impressed.
I was even doing like a hand movement like I was doing a rap.
Are you soon going to do a rap battle v Falcon? Tonight in 8 Mile.
I haven't seen 8 Mile. Yeah,
Really?
Sorry.
Mackie does a rap battle with Marshall.
What?
Yeah.
Well, Mackie could not hold up.
No, he loses badly.
As I would expect.
It is incredible to watch.
It's a massacre.
It's a Mackie curse.
No, give your
Anyways, find me on Instagram at fdalgard. You can find me on Twitter at ftk_daltsniper. Find me on YouTube at ftk_gaming. Boom! And I don't have any more.
You say
handles, do
Instagram?
I did say Instagram.
Okay. Well, then, yeah, you're done.
You can leave.
Shut up. Well, thank you very much for listening, and we will see you next time. If anyone like listens to this for the first time, they'd be so... It started as a riff on my outro, and now it's just become its own beast.